Hey everybody, Destalker here. So today I thought I'd tell you the story about when we had to talk one of our racing friends out of going to race the Alpine TT. Now you might think that's like every racer's dream is to race the Alpine TT, and there's no question about it. Like, you know, back when I was racing, if I had a chance to go, I would have gone in a second. But this young gentleman, if he had gone, he would have died. And we actually liked him, so we didn't want him to go. Now, a little bit of backstory is this particular guy, he was a production racer. He raced basically production-based bikes, and he was okay. He was, you know, top 15 style finisher type guy. The unfortunate thing was he had a very nasty habit of crashing, and I mean crashing in some of the most spectacular ways. Like, we're talking wild world of sports. And you know, it wasn't a big deal because we know guys who crash all the time and we're friends and whatnot. But when he started talking about how he had made some contact with some a British team that had a bike, and he had talked them into letting them race their bike at the Alpine this particular year, it just sort of stopped everybody cold. Now, the first thing about this guy is that he actually, his full-time job was actually working in sales. So most racers are very, I'll say the vast majority of racers are very poor at promoting themselves and just talking up, you know, potential sponsors. This guy was gold. You know, he did not have the finishes to justify the sponsorship he had, but he could, you know, he could walk away with oil, tires. Like, it was just amazing, all the stuff he got. And I don't begrudge him for that, and I don't think anybody actually did. They just think it's more like a case of admiring him for being able to do that. And I've known a few guys over the years who were not necessarily the best racers, but they were like just incredibly good at promoting themselves. And he had managed to talk this British team into like thinking he was a really good production racer. And you know, they had offered him a ride and wanted him to come out the next month for the Alpine. Now, as far as the crashing ability this guy had, what really concerned us about it was not so much that he would he'd crash, but he would crash on, you know, tracks that he's known for years, in corners he's known for years. And when you get talking to him afterwards, it'd be like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot I didn't have to brake as hard in this corner, or, you know, I for some reason I was thinking more of the other corner than this corner. And we all knew the TT is a memory game. Like, 37.5 kilometers or 37.5 miles, whatever it is, you know, I think 255 billion turns, not even forgetting about the potholes and everything else under the sun. We'd be shocked if he made it more than about a mile down the track before he found a hedge or something, or worse, a stone building. So he really didn't have the memory to, you know, to sort of race on a track like this. and he'd be a danger to himself and probably all the other racers out there as well. But the guy was Irish. Now I'm half Irish, so I understand the Irish stubborn streak, and I've got a lot of friends who are Irish, and you know, just if you're Irish, you understand. I don't want to really go too deeply into it, but you weren't going to try to talk him out of it. He had made up his mind he was going. Now, we could have tried his father, who was, you know, basically a hard ass, and would have tried to lay the law down on him, but we also knew this guy, and he would probably disobey his dad, and probably his mother too. So what happened was a whole bunch of us just started saying, like you got to be kidding, like, you know how many people die there every year, and we basically, it became almost a group effort. Anybody who knew him basically told him he was crazy, you're gonna die. Luckily his brother also came to the tracks, and his brother wasn't a racer, he just sort of liked to come out and like to party with us. And you know, like one weekend his brother showed up, and he walked up to one of the other guys I know and handed him something in an envelope. He says, he ain't going with this. And he opened it up, and he had his brother's passport. And this was back in the 80s when getting a passport took like 3 months. So so that was our plan A. We had his passport, so he couldn't fly out. But basically we just had everybody talking to him. He the bike shop I raced out of and he raced out of was the same shop. The shop was adamant that he shouldn't be going as well. In fact, what they were trying to do was sabotage him from behind by trying to get the name of the shop in England that had offered him a ride. But he wasn't going to give that information up because I think he suspected that was what was going to happen. But like, we're talking literally like almost 6 weeks, every race weekend, talking to him. The announcer for the racetrack knows a lot of the racers and is good friends with them, and was actually a friend of this guy as well because of his sales, you know, marketing sort of thing. And he sat down and talked to him. The head marshal happened to walk by the pits, and we got talking to him, and he walked over and yelled at him. So it was just kind of funny. And I think what basically happened was he had so many people telling him not to go that eventually he realized he shouldn't be going. And really up until the TT started, we were still worried as hell that he was gonna like catch a plane and show up there. But eventually he about a week after, he said, yeah, I phoned the guys and said I couldn't get it, I couldn't go. And but it was like it was kind of a scary thing. Like, I know the TT has you know, their practice sessions for new racers to the event, and you hope they can spot someone who shouldn't be there. But sometimes, you know, you get people, they just slip through. You know, they happen to have that one really good ride, and they think, oh, okay, this guy's okay. So it was a good thing. He raced for a whole bunch of years, and eventually had to give it up because he ended up getting promoted to the company he was at, and he couldn't find the time to race anymore. But you know, it was kind of a scary thing, seeing one of your friends maybe making a decision that was probably going to end their life. And we were just happy that it all worked out, that he didn't go. The last thing we want to do is see another name on the list of those who didn't finish the TT. Anyways, just a little story about some of the stuff that happens that not never make the history books. Nope. This Death Stalker signing off.